Hello everyone, and welcome to Readings in English, your new favorite channel for immersive English learning. Learning a new language can feel like climbing a mountain, challenging, sometimes frustrating, but ultimately incredibly rewarding. English, with its rich vocabulary and diverse dialects, might seem like Everest at first glance. But don't worry, we're here to make the journey easier, more engaging, and even fun. We'll use storytelling to help you build your vocabulary, improve your comprehension, and boost your confidence in using English. Forget boring grammar drills and rote memorization. We'll make learning English an adventure. Today, I'm thrilled to introduce you to a captivating story that perfectly embodies the power of community and resilience. This is a tale of Oakhaven, a small village struck by a devastating flood. It's a story of loss, of struggle, but most importantly, of hope, courage, and the remarkable strength of the human spirit. Through the experiences of Sarah, Elias, Maria, and the other villagers, we'll explore themes of cooperation, overcoming adversity, and the enduring power of human connection. Prepare to be moved by their journey, and, along the way, you'll naturally absorb new vocabulary and improve your understanding of English. So, grab your headphones, get comfortable, and let's begin our journey together into the heart of Oakhaven. Let's dive into the helping hands. The village of Oakhaven nestled peacefully in a valley, cradled by rolling hills and a meandering river. Sunlight dappled through the leaves of ancient oak trees, casting long shadows across cobblestone streets. The air hummed with the gentle sounds of everyday life, the rhythmic clang of the blacksmith's hammer, the cheerful chatter of children playing near the village well, the melodic calls of birdsong echoing through the valley. Sarah, a young woman with kind eyes and a determined spirit, tended her small garden, her hands gently coaxing life from the soil. She was known throughout Oakhaven for her generosity and quiet strength, always ready with a helping hand or a comforting word. Elias, the village elder, sat on his porch, his weathered face etched with the wisdom of years, watching the world go by. His presence was a comforting anchor for the community. Maria, a young and enthusiastic doctor, recently arrived in Oakhaven, was quickly becoming a beloved member of the community, her bright smile a beacon of hope. The tranquility of Oakhaven, however, was a fragile thing, a deceptive calm before the storm. A low rumble, almost imperceptible at first, began to resonate through the valley. The wind picked up, rustling the leaves of the oak trees into a nervous dance. Dark clouds gathered on the horizon, swallowing the afternoon sun. The whispers of the storm were growing louder. The rhythmic clang of the blacksmith's hammer became a frantic, irregular beat. The cheerful chatter of children dissolved into hushed anxieties. Even the birdsong ceased, replaced by an ominous silence. A sense of unease settled over the village, a premonition of the impending danger. Sarah, noticing the change in the atmosphere, felt a shiver run down her spine. She knew, instinctively, that something was terribly wrong. The familiar comfort of Oak Haven was fading, replaced by a growing sense of foreboding. The storm broke with savage fury. Rain lashed down in torrential sheets, transforming the meandering river into a raging torrent. The wind howled like a banshee, tearing at the roofs of houses and uprooting ancient trees. The peaceful valley was transformed into a chaotic maelstrom of wind, water, and debris. The village of Oak Haven, once a picture of idyllic serenity, was now a scene of utter devastation. The cobblestone streets were submerged under a surging tide of muddy water. Houses were being ripped apart, their wooden frames groaning under the relentless assault of the storm. The rhythmic clang of the blacksmith's hammer was replaced by the terrifying crash of collapsing structures. Sarah, caught in the storm's relentless fury, fought her way through the rising waters, desperately trying to reach her home. The force of the wind threatened to tear her away, the icy rain stinging her face. She could hear the terrified screams of her neighbors, the desperate cries for help lost in the roar of the storm. Elias, trapped in his flooded home, clung to a broken piece of furniture, his frail body battered by the raging floodwaters. Maria, her medical bag clutched tightly in her hand, was wading through the knee-deep water, desperately trying to reach those in need. The storm raged on, its fury unchecked, its power absolute. The once peaceful valley was now a scene of unimaginable destruction, a testament to the untamed power of nature. As the storm reached its peak, a terrifying roar echoed through the valley, a sound that spoke of impending catastrophe. A massive section of the hillside collapsed, sending a wall of mud and debris crashing down into the village, engulfing homes and people in its path. The unseen fury of nature had unleashed its full wrath upon Oak Haven. When the storm finally subsided, a chilling silence descended upon Oak Haven. The relentless rain had ceased, but the wind still moaned through the broken remnants of homes and trees. A thick, suffocating fog clung to the landscape, obscuring the extent of the devastation. The once familiar streets were unrecognizable, buried under a thick layer of mud and debris. The air, thick with the smell of damp earth and splintered wood, carried the faint scent of decay. Sarah, bruised and battered, emerged from the wreckage of her home, her heart heavy with grief and fear. She surveyed the scene, her eyes scanning the ravaged landscape for any sign of life. The familiar faces of her neighbors were replaced by the haunting silence of empty houses. The cheerful chatter of children was replaced by the eerie stillness of destruction. Everywhere she looked, she saw the scars of the storm's fury, shattered windows, collapsed walls, and twisted metal. The village well, once a central gathering point, was now filled with murky, contaminated water. Elias, miraculously rescued from his flooded home, was huddled under a tattered blanket, his body trembling with exhaustion and shock. Maria, her face streaked with mud and grime, worked tirelessly, tending to the injured and comforting the bereaved. Her medical bag, though battered, remained her lifeline in this ravaged landscape. The task ahead seemed insurmountable, the scale of the devastation almost incomprehensible. Yet, amidst the ruins, a flicker of hope began to ignite. Small acts of kindness, small gestures of support, began to emerge from the rubble. Neighbors helped neighbors, sharing what little food and water they had salvaged. A sense of community, tested but not broken, began to emerge from the ashes of destruction. As the initial shock wore off, a different kind of storm began to brew within Oakhaven. The unity that had briefly emerged in the immediate aftermath of the flood began to fracture under the strain of scarcity and despair. Arguments broke out over the distribution of limited resources, food, water, and shelter. Old grudges resurfaced, fueled by desperation and exhaustion. Accusations flew, trust eroded, and the fragile sense of community threatened to unravel. Some villagers, consumed by self-preservation, hoarded their supplies, refusing to share with those in greater need. Others, overwhelmed by grief and despair, withdrew into themselves, unable to cope with the enormity of their loss. Sarah, witnessing the growing discord, felt a sense of despair wash over her. Her attempts to maintain order and cooperation were met with resistance and resentment. Elias, despite his age and frailty, tried to mediate the disputes, his wisdom and experience offering little solace in the face of such deep-seated division. Maria, witnessing the emotional toll on the community, found herself struggling to balance her medical duties with the urgent need to address the growing social unrest. The lack of communication with the outside world only exacerbated the tensions. News of the disaster had yet to reach the outside world, leaving Oakhaven isolated and alone in its struggle. The once strong bonds of community, tested by the storm, were now threatened by the insidious erosion of trust and cooperation. The future of Oakhaven seemed uncertain, hanging precariously in the balance. The weight of despair threatened to crush Oakhaven, but amidst the darkness, a spark of hope began to ignite. Sarah, witnessing the escalating conflicts and the growing sense of hopelessness, knew that something had to change. She couldn't stand idly by while her community crumbled. Gathering her courage, she rallied a small group of villagers, those who still possessed a glimmer of hope and a willingness to cooperate. She proposed a plan, a bold initiative to rebuild Oakhaven, not just its physical structures, but also its fractured unity. Her plan was simple yet ambitious, to establish a central distribution point for the limited resources, ensuring fair and equitable allocation. She also proposed organizing work teams to clear the debris and begin the process of rebuilding homes. The initial response was hesitant, marked by skepticism and suspicion. Many villagers were still consumed by their own grief and anger, unwilling to trust their neighbors or participate in any collective effort. However, Sarah's unwavering determination and infectious optimism gradually began to sway opinions. Her genuine compassion and tireless efforts resonated with those who were still willing to believe in the possibility of a better future. Elias, witnessing Sarah's unwavering commitment, offered his support, lending his wisdom and experience to guide the effort. His presence, a symbol of stability and continuity, helped to bridge the gap between warring factions. Maria, too, played a crucial role, not only providing medical care, but also offering emotional support and counseling. Her empathy and understanding helped to heal the wounds inflicted by the storm and the subsequent conflict. Slowly but surely, a sense of shared purpose began to emerge. The initial resistance gave way to a growing sense of collective responsibility. Villagers, inspired by Sarah's leadership and buoyed by the collective effort, began to work together, their actions fueled by a renewed sense of hope. The spark of hope, ignited by Sarah's determination, was slowly but surely turning into a flame of resilience. Oak Haven's future was still uncertain, but for the first time since the flood, a tangible sense of optimism filled the air. The arduous task of clearing the debris began. Under Sarah's meticulous organization, work teams were formed, each assigned specific tasks. The strong and able-bodied focused on removing larger debris, uprooted trees, shattered building materials, and the thick layer of mud that coated everything. Others, less physically capable, focused on smaller tasks, sorting through salvaged belongings, cleaning what could be salvaged, and providing support to the work crews. The atmosphere was one of focused determination, a stark contrast to the chaos and despair of the previous days. The rhythmic sounds of shovels hitting earth, hammers pounding nails, and saws cutting wood replaced the ominous silence of the aftermath. Elias, despite his age, played a vital role, offering guidance and encouragement. His knowledge of the village's layout and history proved invaluable in navigating the treacherous landscape of rubble and debris. Maria, while continuing her medical duties, also contributed to the cleanup efforts, ensuring that those who were physically capable were able to contribute to the communal effort. Her medical expertise was instrumental in treating injuries sustained during the cleanup. The work was backbreaking, both physically and emotionally. The constant reminder of the destruction, the lingering smell of decay, and the emotional toll of rebuilding their lives weighed heavily on everyone. Yet the spirit of cooperation, once fractured, was now stronger than ever. Villagers working side by side found solace and strength in their shared effort. The collective work, far from being merely a physical task, was a powerful act of healing and reconciliation. As the debris was cleared, the foundations of a new Oakhaven began to emerge, built not just from wood and stone, but also from the renewed spirit of community. The process of clearing the debris was slow, painstaking, and arduous, but with each piece of rubble removed, a sense of hope grew stronger. With the debris cleared, a new set of challenges emerged. Oakhaven was left with a severe scarcity of resources: food, clean water, and shelter. The initial supplies provided by the first aid teams were dwindling, and the long-term prospects seemed bleak. This scarcity brought about a new wave of tension and conflict. The initial unity, forged in the crucible of the disaster, began to fray under the pressure of survival. Arguments broke out over the distribution of limited resources. Those with stronger connections or more assertive personalities often secured a larger share, exacerbating the existing inequalities and fueling resentment among those who felt neglected or overlooked. Sarah, understanding the gravity of the situation, implemented a strict rationing system, ensuring that resources were distributed fairly among all villagers. She established a central distribution point, meticulously tracking the available supplies and allocating them based on need. This system, however, was not without its challenges. Some villagers resisted the rationing, arguing that it was unfair or inefficient. Others, consumed by their own anxieties, hoarded what little they had, further exacerbating the shortage. Elias, with his deep understanding of the community's dynamics, played a vital role in mediating these conflicts. His wisdom and calm demeanor helped to soothe frayed tempers and foster a sense of shared responsibility. Maria, meanwhile, continued her medical work, treating not only physical injuries, but also the emotional trauma inflicted by the scarcity and the resulting conflict. She provided psychological support, helping villagers cope with the stress and anxiety brought about by the uncertain future. Despite the challenges, the sense of community, though tested, did not completely break. Acts of kindness and selflessness continued to emerge, mitigating the harshness of the situation. Neighbors shared their meager rations with those less fortunate, demonstrating the enduring strength of the human spirit even in the face of adversity. The struggle to overcome scarcity was far from over, but the collective effort to overcome this challenge further strengthened their bonds, proving the resilience of the Oakhaven community. With their immediate needs barely met, the villagers of Oakhaven turned their attention to the outside world. Communication lines were down, roads were impassable, and the isolation began to feel overwhelming. Sarah, understanding the urgency of the situation, took the initiative to establish contact with the outside world. She organized a small team to venture out, seeking help from nearby towns and cities. The journey was perilous. Roads were blocked by debris, and the landscape remained treacherous. But the team persevered, driven by the urgent need to secure aid for their beleaguered community. Their efforts were initially met with bureaucratic hurdles. The scale of the disaster was vast, and aid was being distributed to many affected areas. Oak Haven, a small and remote village, was initially overlooked amidst the larger crisis. Sarah, however, refused to be deterred. She persisted, making numerous phone calls, sending emails, and even traveling to nearby towns to personally appeal for assistance. Her unwavering determination and clear articulation of Oak Haven's needs eventually caught the attention of regional authorities and humanitarian organizations. The response was slow but steady, initially in the form of emergency supplies, food, water, and medical equipment. Then came the promise of larger-scale aid, including building materials and funding for long-term reconstruction. The arrival of external aid was not just a logistical relief. It was a powerful boost to the morale of the villagers. The sense of isolation began to diminish, replaced by a growing sense of hope and renewed determination. Oak Haven was no longer alone in its struggle. The outside world had heard their plea, and help was on the way. The successful outreach efforts marked a turning point in Oak Haven's recovery. It demonstrated the power of persistence, the importance of community action, and the capacity of human compassion to transcend geographical boundaries. The arrival of external aid marked a turning point in Oak Haven's recovery. Trucks laden with supplies rumbled into the village, bringing with them not just materials, but a renewed sense of hope. The initial chaotic distribution of aid gave way to a more organized system, overseen by Sarah and her team, ensuring that resources were allocated fairly and efficiently. The influx of building materials spurred a flurry of activity. Villagers, energized by the renewed sense of purpose and the tangible support, worked tirelessly to rebuild their homes and their lives. The community spirit, tested and refined by adversity, shone brighter than ever. Neighbors helped neighbors, sharing tools, skills, and encouragement. The rebuilding was not just about restoring physical structures. It was about restoring a sense of normalcy, a sense of belonging, a sense of community. Maria, with the assistance of additional medical personnel who arrived with the aid teams, continued her work, providing medical care and emotional support to those who needed it most. She established a temporary clinic, offering a safe space for villagers to receive treatment and share their experiences. Her presence was a constant reminder of the resilience of the human spirit and the power of human compassion. Elias, with his deep understanding of the community's history and traditions, played a vital role in preserving the cultural heritage of Oak Haven. He ensured that the rebuilding process respected the village's unique character and identity, avoiding the imposition of standardized designs or structures. He worked closely with the construction teams, advising on architectural details and ensuring that the rebuilt homes reflected the village's distinctive aesthetic. As the village slowly began to regain its former charm, the seeds of resilience, planted during the darkest hours, began to sprout and flourish. The shared experience of overcoming adversity had strengthened the community's bonds, forging an unbreakable link between its members. The rebuilding of Oakhaven was not just a physical undertaking. It was a testament to the strength of the human spirit, the enduring power of community, and the remarkable capacity for hope to emerge even from the depths of despair. Months later, Oakhaven stood transformed. The scars of the flood were still visible, but they were now interwoven with the vibrant tapestry of renewal. Homes were rebuilt, stronger and more resilient than before, reflecting the community's newfound strength. The village square, once a scene of devastation, was now a bustling hub of activity, a testament to the community's renewed vitality. A sense of normalcy had returned, but it was a normalcy enriched by the shared experience of overcoming adversity. The villagers had not merely rebuilt their homes. They had rebuilt their lives, their relationships, and their community. Sarah, once a quiet and unassuming figure, had emerged as a respected leader, her unwavering determination and compassionate spirit inspiring countless others. She continued to serve her community, ensuring that the lessons learned during the crisis were not forgotten. Elias, with his wisdom and experience, remained a guiding force, ensuring that the traditions and values of Oakhaven were preserved and passed on to future generations. Maria, having made Oakhaven her home, continued to provide medical care and support, her presence a constant reminder of the community's resilience and capacity for healing. The rebuilding of Oakhaven was not just a physical undertaking. It was a profound transformation, a testament to the enduring power of the human spirit, the strength of community bonds, and the unwavering belief in the possibility of a brighter future. The village, once ravaged by a devastating flood, now stood as a beacon of hope, a symbol of resilience, and a testament to the power of collective action. The new dawn brought not just physical restoration, but also a deeper understanding of the importance of unity, compassion, and the enduring spirit of humanity. The scars of the past remained, a reminder of the challenges overcome, but they were now overshadowed by the vibrant promise of a brighter future, a future built on the foundation of resilience, unity, and hope. The story of Oakhaven became a legend, a tale of triumph over adversity, a reminder that even in the face of overwhelming challenges, the human spirit can prevail.